Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanyavad, Suresh Prabhupada.
Right.
Gopal Bhatta Prabhu is now online, Maharaj. Yes.
My obeisances. So Maharaj, we have to, today we have to finish no later than 45 minutes, and 40 minutes is better. We have a second event coming around the corner.
Banners, with your banners as well. So during the presentation, when you're ready, just say, play this video, and then I'll play it as we go.
Now, Maharaj, do you want to be interviewed or do you want to just talk? I mean, you've got a lot to say, and I could just do an introduction and then come off the screen. Now, I'll be listening because, of course, I want to hear from you. So I'll just be listening anyway, and then come in at the end. But just keep an eye on the clock at around 40 minutes after the hour.
Gopal Bhatta Prabhu, if you can lower your screen a little so in line with Mirage, if you don't mind, just the symmetry.
Yeah,
perfect.
symmetry is fine. I just I'm at my second home, and I don't want, and I have less facility for video here. So I'm actually use my bedroom as an office also. So I like to show the bed.
Everything's clear in the background, Prabhu, don't worry.
Okay, good.
Lighting is good as well.
It's okay. It's not as good as my lighting at my main home.
Yeah,
You have three laws, Maharaj. If I were asking you questions, I would say, "Oh, what are these laws?"
Sure.
There's no hard and fast rule for chanting the holy name.
Well, these are pretty hard and fast. Yeah.
We've got 1 minute to go before we go live.
Okay, good. Is it cold out there in South Africa? We see a big scarf on you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sensitive to the cold, but centigrade, it's around 20 degrees today, 21, 22. It's midwinter, or almost mid. Yeah, it's winter. Yeah. I like to keep warm.
It's like we're about ready to go live.
Mirage, are you ready on your side?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Shakti Gopal.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Gopal Bhatta Prabhu, please accept mine. All glories to Prabhupada.
Thank you for spending some time with us. You know, we have the GBC SPT. We're doing videos on a number of topics, including keeping the devotional community aware of this dreaded COVID, but we also do many things in the space of what you might call devotee care and spiritual interest. Uh, I think everybody knows you, but I'll just say a few words just in case we have a few people in our audience that might not know you. Of course, you're a famous devotee, so. But you are a GBC member, and in fact, this year you're serving as the chairman of the GBC. So congratulations on that. I'm hoping it's not some major problem for you.
No comment.
No comment. Okay, good. You're an initiating spiritual master. You're a sannyasi. You have a thriving community in South Africa, but actually you travel the world. You have zones in Russia, and I think, is it Lithuania? Is it?
Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia,
Yeah,
and other places.
and many other places. So
Yes.
you and I were talking just the other day on some strategic matters, and you mentioned that you've been conducting these Japa sessions. And I found that like, wow, really great, especially they're so well attended. So I suggested to you that we do an interview on you on Japa, and of course, letting everybody also know about your Japa sessions that you're having. I guess you're having two a day, yeah?
Yeah, 2 a day, every day, 7 days a week.
Incredible. So you have much to say. We won't make this as an interview, rather I'll get off the screen and you can just tell us all about those workshops. But then in addition, tell us how we can improve our chanting. I'll be listening in the background because I very much want to hear from you. So we're pretty much good to go.
All right, great. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank
Greatly
you.
appreciated. Okay, so Hare Krishna devotees, my humble obeisances. Let's first chant some mantras, glorify Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastya Chadesh Tarne Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyas cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So yes, devotees, welcome. So nice to be with you, and many thanks to the GBC SPT team, Gopal Bhatta Prabhu and company, for organizing all these different types of programs, and now Japa programs also. Japa, of course, is really one of the most foundational aspects of sadhana. So my little presentation today, I'm going to cover a few subjects, but the very first thing, what the title that was presented to all of you in the publicity and so on, is 3 Japa laws and other insights. But let's begin with the 3 laws of Japa. Now, you might find this, you might think this is, I'm just being a little facetious, a little cheeky or something like that. But what I'm going to tell you now, these 3 laws, I tell you what, they are so foundational. If you get this together, you've got it together as far as Japa goes. So you may be amused, but it's very serious. So here we go. Law number 1. You must chant attentively. Means you have to Uh, chant the actual mantra, not some sort of other type of creation. You must chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then you must hear it. This is attentive chanting. That's number one. So here comes law number two. Fasten your seatbelts. You must be attentive. Seriously. It's the first rule. It's the second rule also. And then now comes the third rule, which is, by all means, whatever it takes, somehow or other, you must chant attentively. Now, like I said, you may be sitting there a little amused and thinking, what's this person up to? But it's true. It's really true. Attention, to chant attentively is the most foundational and fundamental rules or law for chanting good japa, japa which will work, japa which will really get you focused on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, japa which will keep your mind controlled so it doesn't start zooming off in different directions. I'm sure we all know all about that, what that's like. That's so destructive. Oh my gosh, so destructive. So there's also, you could say, there's a fourth law or a companion law. I mean, there are many laws, of course, you could say, but this is another one truly important. If you really want to help yourself in Krishna consciousness, if you really want to help yourself in your japa and your sadhana and your chanting of Hare Krishna, get up early. Get up early, take a nice bath, put on clean clothes, and then chant attentively. First law, second law, third law. If you do like that, you'll be successful in Krishna consciousness. You really will. Get up early, take a nice bath, put on clean clothes, and maybe if you've got an altar at home, sit in front of your altar and really chant attentively. And if you want to go backwards, if you want to go down, if you want to get out of Krishna consciousness, then whatever you do, don't get up early. If you want to fail in Krishna consciousness, make a point of not getting up early, and you'll probably be successful. Excuse the tongue in cheek and little sarcasm, but it's true. All these things are true, and at least I can speak for myself, of course. I have experience, at least, of how it works, really. So these are my three laws for chanting japa. Now, the second thing I want to introduce to you is it's actually a couple of tricks, really, for achieving attentiveness. Yeah, chanting 16 rounds, basically, any serious, committed devotee will chant 16 rounds at least every day. We all know that. That was Prabhupada's standard. That's the standard for initiation. So, yeah, But now, and 16 rounds. How long does it take? Well, it varies, of course, but oftentimes it may be plus or minus a couple of hours. Now, if you've got to just keep yourself attentive for a couple of hours, that's quite a while. So here's a couple of tricks for initially achieving attentiveness. And they're just sort of like little psychological tricks, but I've also had experience that they work. And I know quite a number of other devotees in our Japa retreats. I've done many, many Japa retreats over the last, gosh, I don't know, definitely more than 10 years. And these tricks, they sort of trick the mind a little, capture the mind a bit. They're not foolproof answers to all problems in Japa, but they can and often help. So here's trick number one. Listen to this. So now you sit down or you stand up or whatever. Generally, I like to sit down, and you take your japa beads. And now you're going to chant your first mantra, your first round, but your first mantra. Of course, we generally chant the Panchatattva Maha Mantra, but so that's okay. But now we're going to actually start chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and we want to be attentive. So what you do, little trick, in your mind, you just tell yourself, you tell your mind, you tell yourself, this mantra I will hear. I will chant it nicely and I'll hear it. It doesn't mean you have to do it very slowly and painstakingly in that sense, but you can chant at the normal speed, your normal rate of chanting. But first thing, you tell yourself, this mantra I will hear. And you hear it. And now you come to the second mantra. And what do? You tell yourself, this mantra I will hear. And then you hear it. It's so much easier than saying, okay, next couple of hours, I'm just going to be fully attentive. You can do that. But this is a little trick to just first of all get attention. Yeah, so that's a nice little one. It's a nice little trick which I do use, and quite a number of devotees have picked this up and tried it and come back to me and told me that, it works. Because after you've chanted the first mantra, second, third, fourth, you carry on like that, each mantra just saying, this mantra I will hear. So after a while, your mind gets into the habit. Your mind gets used to it. And then some taste comes. And when some taste comes in your chanting from hearing the mantra, pronouncing it and hearing it nicely, then your mind will be happy to chant. Because our minds, they're just looking for taste. That's all. They don't care. In a sense, the mind doesn't care where the taste comes from, as long as it comes. So, therefore, well, we know in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna makes the point that you have to get the higher taste. Otherwise, if you don't, then the mind just wanders. So this is the first of two tricks. The other trick, the second trick, it's just a variation on the first trick. It's sort of the same difference, you could say. And that is, you've chanted the Panchatattva Mahamantra. Now you're going to chant the first Hare Krishna mantra of the day, of your japa. So you tell yourself, I will hear the first Hare. And you make a point of hearing the first Hare. Because if you don't hear the first Hare nicely, then, the rest of the mantra is, it's not first class, even if you hear the rest, but it's not really first class. So you can combine the two also. You can combine the two little tricks. So give these tricks a try. Next time you sit down to chant, particularly early in the morning, because it's easier early in the morning, because the atmosphere is more peaceful and clear and clean, and you are more peaceful and clear and clean, like this. So that's a couple of little tricks, along with my 3 laws. Now, next thing I want to mention, we have actually a recording here. If our team in the background can get it together, it's a recording of Srila Prabhupada on a morning walk, talking about, well, he's asked a question, how do we control our mind? How do we control our mind? It's sort of the same idea as attentiveness. Let's see now if they've got it together there. So let's play the recording, the video.
It's very difficult to control my mind when I chant. It's very difficult to control my mind when I chant. It wonders.
What is the controlling of mind? You have to chant and hear, that's all. You have to chant with your tongue, and the sound you hear, that's what is the question of mind?
Okay, short but sweet. Srila Prabhupada. And he's sort of taking it a step further. We have explained the 3 laws in our couple of tricks. Prabhupada's already there. He's already there. That what do you mean control the mind? You just chant and you just hear. And that's it. And away you go and you're there. But I've found that following our 3 laws and utilizing the tricks a little bit, it really helps to come to that point which Srila Prabhupada is talking about. So next thing I want to just touch on, I want to tell you a story. Actually, I want to read you a story. It's from Chaitanya Bhagavat, from the Antya Leela, the last part, the 9th chapter. It's the second to last chapter of second to last chapter of the whole. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Antya Leela, verses 113 to 126. And this is about quantity of chanting. We've been focusing on quality the last 10 minutes or so. We've been focusing on quality, but quantity has to be there also. Prabhupada wanted both. Prabhupada didn't want that we just try to chant, for example, one mantra perfectly, and that's it. Both quality and quantity have to be there. 16 rounds. But Lord Chaitanya, he actually emphasized chanting 1 lakh. 1 lakh is 100,000 names. It's plus or minus 60 rounds, 64 maybe. It's in that vicinity. So I'm just going to read this, and you please listen. It's just a pastime when Lord Chaitanya emphasizes to a group of devotees that he really wants them to chant a sufficient quantity also. So, okay, let's have a look here. If someone has devotion, then everything is well. But without devotion, even the position of a king is inauspicious. If one has wealth, fame, and material enjoyment, but is bereft of devotion, then everything is inauspicious. And if one is so poor that he has no food for a day, but he has devotion to Lord Vishnu, then he's the richest person. If even a poor person, unable to accumulate food, is inclined to the service of the Lord, then no one can be as rich as him, because his Lord is the proprietor of all opulences. So Lord Chaitanya's preaching there, and then the scene shifts a little bit. As the devotees invited the Lord to take his meal in their houses, the Lord took the opportunity to teach them all this topic. When invited to take a meal, the Lord smiled and said, "First, you should become a Laksheshwara. I take meals only in the house of a Laksheshwara," Lord Chaitanya said. Hearing this, the Brahmins became worried. Laksheshwara, the sort of common usage of this term, well, lakh means 100,000, but the most common use of it is in relation to money. 100,000 rupees. And Ishwara means the master of a lakh. In other words, a person who has 100,000 rupees, which going back 500 years ago, that was a lot of money. Now it's, it's nothing extremely special. I mean, it's, nothing to be laughed at. But in those days, oh my gosh, someone was a Laksheshwara in rupees, that was a wealthy person. So the Brahmins, the devotees that Lord Chaitanya was speaking to, they all took it when Lord Chaitanya said, "I will only eat in the house of a Laksheshwara." They took it that Lord Chaitanya is only going to eat in the houses of rich people, and they were Brahmins, and they just very simple folk. So the Brahmins, the reading continues. The Brahmins offered prayers to the Lord. "O Gosani, what to speak of 100,000 rupees? None of us possess even 1,000. If you don't accept meals from us, then let our entire households be burnt to ashes." So, seeing their disappointment, the Lord explained. So the Lord replied, "Do you know who is a Laksheshwara? He is someone who daily chants 100,000 holy names of Lord Krishna. I call that person a Laksheshwara. I take meals in only such a person's house, not in the houses of others." Hearing this merciful statement of the Lord, the Brahmins gave up their anxiety and became joyful. They said, "O Lord, we will chant 100,000 names. Please, therefore, take your meals in our houses. It is our good fortune that you are teaching us in this way." So all the Brahmins then began to chant 100,000 names every day so that they could offer food to Lord Chaitanya Chandra. And in this way, the Lord of Vaikuntha enjoyed in the ocean of devotional service by inducing others to take up the process of devotional service. So it's a nice little story, 64 rounds plus or minus. Lord Chaitanya really appreciated that. And elsewhere, Srila Prabhupada explains that this was also the standard of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, that he wanted the devotees to chant 100,000 names, 1 lakh, or around 64 rounds. But Srila Prabhupada, elsewhere, he explains that for us, nowadays, he has set 16, as we know very well. But Prabhupada explains that I have set 16, and I am confident that if you maintain the 16 rounds, then you will get that same mercy which Lord Chaitanya is talking about here in these verses of Chaitanya Bhagavat. Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya, they're a team. They work together. So Prabhupada's special arrangement with Lord Chaitanya. Now, I want to go on to another important aspect of chanting japa. This is mood. What sort of state of consciousness, what sort of attitude should we have while chanting japa? So, in order to explore this a little bit, to begin exploring this, I want to read something spoken by a disciple of Prabhupada, fairly prominent, pretty prominent disciple of Prabhupada who's passed away, but he was really into chanting the holy names. Please listen to this. You can die anytime. When you chant your 16 rounds, you should think, this is my last chance to cry for the mercy of Radha and Krishna. And when you come to the last round, you should think, this is my last chance to try to please Radha and Krishna. And when you come to the last mantra of the last round, chant in a way that they are convinced. And when you come to the last hooray, then think, if Krishna didn't hear me, with all these mantras, let me call Radharani with my last breath. And then we should chant another 16 rounds in the same mood. So these are nice thoughts. They're really nice thoughts for inspiration and encouragement in our chanting. And you know who spoke that? Who spoke that was His Grace Ayendra Prabhu. He spoke that. Okay, so now I want to go further, a little deeper into mood in chanting japa. And in order to do that, to introduce that, we want to play another recording of Prabhupada speaking. He's speaking in a class, and he's emphasizing the mood in a broad sense, the ideal mood in Krishna consciousness, in devotional service, which of course can be applied in our japa. It's totally relevant in our japa. So let's hope we can find this again. It's the one called Madan Mohan Final is the name of the file. And
Just like Madan Mohan. He was talking with Sanatana Goswami. Madan Mohan, Sanatana Goswami at that time had no temple. He was hanging his deity on the tree. So Madan Mohan was talking with him, Sanatana, you are bringing all these dry chapatis and it is stale and you don't give me even little salt. How can I eat? Sanatana Goswami says, sir, where shall I go? Whatever I get, I offer you. You kindly accept. I cannot move, old man. So I had to eat that. Because the bhakta is offering, he cannot refuse. Jiman bhaktya prajit. Real thing is bhakti. What you can offer to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. What you have got, what is your value? And what is the value of your things? It is nothing. Therefore, the real thing is bhaktya. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I am most rotten fallen. But I have brought this thing for you. Please take it. This will be accepted. Don't be puffed up. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna. That is my request. Thank you very much.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sure. That's just one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. It's just incredible. And it applies, as we said, as Prabhupada said, that's the general mood that should be there in the heart of the devotee, in the life of the devotee. And that mood must be there in our japa also. That who are we? What are we? Oh my God. Who am I? It's just, a living disaster. But somehow, some mercy is there. Some mercy is there coming from Prabhupada, coming from Krishna via Prabhupada. And we should have that type of attitude, very, very humble attitude. Not the overconfident attitude that, sure, I know Krishna consciousness. I know how to chant. It's not a big thing. I just do it all the time. But a feeling, a real appreciation of the value of what we've got, the great gift, the gifts we've got, and in this case, particularly in the form of the Maha Mantra. And just in specific application to Japa, I want to play another little recording. It's just, I don't know, it's about a minute of Srila Prabhupada talking in this type of mood, but specifically about chanting Japa. The recording is called Please Give Me Strength. So we can play that.
Life is short and it is so much done. So how it is possible to practice? Therefore, this one practice, chanting Hare Krishna and hearing, that is very nice. And praying to Krishna, please give me strength. Hare, oh energy of Krishna, oh Krishna, I am fallen, I have no strength, please accept me. That's all. I have no qualification. I am frail. I am trying, but I am failing. All these appeals to be made. And Krishna is all powerful. He can do anything. Even if we do not perform, trying our best, if we fail, Krishna will help us. Just like a child tries his best, but he falls down. The mother takes up and all right, come on, walk. Like that.
Okay, yeah, that's a very similar idea, same idea in regard to chanting. So devotees, these are some thoughts. These are some thoughts coming from Prabhupada, coming from Lord Chaitanya. These are very foundational thoughts for our chanting of Japa. And I'd like to invite you that please try these things. Even if you've been chanting for 40 or 50 years, or even more perhaps in some cases, but there's always room for improving our chanting. So please give it a try. Those laws, remember the laws, they're really worthwhile. The tricks, controlling the mind, then the need for a decent quantity, and then the mood. So give it a good try, and I pray to Krishna, but I'm sure, if you really give it a good effort along these lines, you'll get a very nice result. Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Maharaj, in your Japa sessions, do you have more room if devotees would like to join?
Oh yeah, we have unlimited room. we have 10 Zooms, we have 10 Facebooks, whatever language you want to use.
So if they wanted to join, how would they do so? Where should they look you up?
Yeah, Facebook under Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, BHAKTI CAITANYA Swami, and on Zoom. For English speakers, The Facebook's the easiest. Yeah.
Hmm. And what times of the day are they?
Yeah. You know, it depends where we are, but at the moment we're in the temple in Durban. So, South African time, South African time, we are starting every morning, 5:15 till 7. Every
Hmm.
morning, South African time, UK time, that's 3:15. East Coast America, gosh, it's 11:15. West Coast, it's 2:15 in the afternoon. Then, and India, it's, what is it? It's about 8:45. Then in the afternoon, at least Monday to Friday, in the afternoon, we start 4:30 in the afternoon, South African time, to 5:30. Yeah.
Hmm. So you do it twice a day, at least on the weekdays.
Yeah, and the weekends usually, but I mean, generally, sometimes the times get thrown out on the weekends because there's a lot of preaching programs and things.
Now, I also just wanted to follow up on one question. You emphasized in the beginning, get up early,
Right.
and of course, so many of the current modern day Vaishnavas, they're actually working. They have to get to work.
Right.
Um, and so when we talk about getting up early, I think you're probably implying get up early enough so that you can finish your 16 rounds before you have to go to work. Does that make some sense?
That makes excellent sense. If you're able, please do it. Please do 20 rounds.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But
And then another thing. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
no,
Go
but
ahead.
at least, different devotees are in different situations, obviously. But at least do your absolute level best to chant at least half your rounds, maybe 10 rounds. Because during the day, if you're working, your tea break, your lunch break, go out to the car park and chant or something. It's just not really the way to do it. So, as you're saying, actually, the ideal is to get up and chant 16 rounds.
So then one other thing is with many devotees working, it means they're getting up, they're leaving their home, they're driving their car to their place of work, and then they're driving back home. And many devotees, some devotees, they take japa walks, but sometimes they're japa driving. Uh, it would seem like that might not be the easiest way to be attentive if you're driving and chanting. Yeah.
Well, you got to be you got to be careful with this one, because if you're not careful, if you're not attentive enough to the driving, you can get into serious trouble. And and so, you know, maybe if you're driving on the open road somewhere, in a more remote area, then it may be possible to do it in a decent way. But this is sort of, I know Mahatma Prabhu, he says that if you chant while you're driving, he calls it courtesy japa.
Okay.
Yeah,
So not real super attentive.
yeah,
Okay. I just know that there's a certain amount of devotees that do some japa driving. So,
yeah.
okay. Well, thank you so much, Mara. It's very wonderful time being spent with you. And so we got South African time, 5:15 a.m. and South Africa time, 4:30 p.m. and find you on Facebook.
That's right. That's right. See you there.
Thank you so much. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. All glories to Prabhupada. Haribol. Haribol. Okay, Haribol. See you later.